Hi, everybody. Welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. It's Wednesday today, and I'm losing track of time. It's been a busy week, and it's going to be a busy week. Anyway, it's Wednesday today, and I am here with a technique for you. So every Wednesday at 2 o'clock Pacific, I jump on and share a technique. And today we're going to do heat. Emboss resist. I was going to say heat emboss resist, which it is, but it's called emboss resist. And it's a great technique. Somebody actually had never seen this, and so I thought that would share it today. So it's a way of stamping an image using Versamark, which is kind of like a glue ink, and then using embossing powder and then laying on some color using a blending brush. It's very striking. And so today I thought I would use Pretty Peacock Parakeet Party and see how that turns out. I've got the Inked and Tile stamp set, which is such a pretty stamp set with the flower and the leaf. And I'm going to kind of focus on the leaf and do the emboss resist technique. This is the bundle. It's a punch bundle. So it comes with the rubber stamp and then 2 punches. And it's what we're using for our monthly club this month. So if you're interested in the monthly club, you get 3 cards using this suite. So the kit for 3 cards, plus half a pack of designer series paper, a package of ribbon or a roll of ribbon, and a package of embellishments. And then you can make the cards. You do have to, if you're interested in purchasing the bundle or the stamp set, you would add that on separately. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But it's such a pretty stamp set. Hey, Deborah, welcome. So I'm going to switch over. I actually also have to grab a blending brush, which I managed to forget. I always seem to forget something as I'm getting ready for this. But let me jump over and we'll get started. All right, so hopefully this camera, for some reason, it takes a minute to focus. So hopefully it's going to kind of focus quickly here. We'll just keep that there without rubbing or moving it around too much, and hopefully that will get more focused than it is at the moment. All right, so this is the inked and tiled stamp set. As I said, it is a rubber stamp set. The images are 95%, so they are larger than what they appear, just slightly larger. This flower is stunning if you do some shadowing with it. It's really pretty. Some great sentiments in this one. And I'm going to use this leaf. Anna, thank you. So let me grab a blending brush. Okay, so what we're going to do, let's see, where's my supplies? Okay, so I've got a piece of Pretty Peacock cardstock, and I've cut it 4 1/4. At least I think that's what I cut it. I grabbed it out of my drawer. Yeah, 4 1/4 by 11. So as always, we'll score it at 5 1/2. And fold into the mountain or the raised line and give it a burnish. Here, Roberta, welcome. Okay, I love Pretty Peacock and Parakeet Party together. Look at this color combination. Isn't that stunning? So I thought I'd use that today. I've got a piece of basic white. So that's what I'm going to do my stamping on. And then I'm actually going to cut it out using one of the scallop rectangular scallop contour dies. So when you do emboss resist, a couple of things. Okay, so I've got this is the embossing buddy that comes in the embossing editions kit. So the embossing editions kit includes some tweezers. It includes, here it is. So this is what it includes. So you get the tray to put your embossing powder in, an embossing buddy, these great tweezers, and then a brush. So I absolutely love my tweezers. I use them all the time for all sorts of things. But what you want to do is with your embossing buddy, just rub gently over your piece. Goodness sakes. Okay, I think I'm back. So just rub that over your piece of cardstock, and that takes the static out of it so that you won't get the embossing powder, which is very staticky. Now this Versamark is like, they call it a watermark stamp, but it really is like a glue ink, if that makes sense. And so I'm just going to ink up my leaf. I'm going to put it right in the middle of this. Press it down. And then I'm using white embossing powder. You can either use white or clear, whichever you prefer, but I'm going to use the white for my sentiment, so I thought I would use white for this. So just sprinkle it. You see, there we go. You can see the powder is on my leaf. Now I'm going to set that aside so I don't touch it, but while I have my ink out, I am going to stamp my sentiment on a piece of Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to stamp the thank you on my Pretty Peacock. I'm going to cut this out anyway. So I'm just going to stamp it, and we'll do some heat embossing for the sentiment, just to pop that thank you out. Okay, so close this up because I make such a mess with embossing powder. Get it out of the way. Now you do need a heat tool. I'm going to grab mine. Hopefully, hey Sharon, won't be too noisy. But what you want to do is to put your heat tool on the highest setting, and then hold it in one spot until it starts to melt, and you will see that. So let's see if I can hold this up, and hopefully you can kind of see it start. It's still, for me, this is one of the first techniques I learned, and it's still quite magical to see it starts to melt. There we go. And you just want to make sure that it is all melted. It'll be shiny and white as opposed to this dull. And now we'll do it on this white on white. And this one, the magic will really happen when we start to add some color. So there we go. Once you see it start to go shiny, you can start moving it around. If you see a dull spot, it means that it's still not fully melted, kind of half-baked. So you can just kind of see that shiny leaf there. Now I'm going to let this cool just a minute before I start to add some color. Now, what color am I going to use? I am going to use Pretty Peacock. Okay. Okay, so I've got a blending brush. When I use my blending brushes, I pick up some ink and then kind of tap it off. So I don't want, I want to start, I don't want a big blob of ink. So I'm going to start very lightly over my image. And remember, I'm going to cut this out with a die. So you can kind of go over it as much as you want, but you can see, hopefully, start to see the leaf emerge. Now in this one, it seems to be, I'm going to go a little bit darker. The last thing I'm going to do once I get kind of most of my ink on here, I'm going to take a piece of, hopefully I've got a Kleenex or something here that I can use. There. So it really just kind of makes that leaf pop. Now I'm gonna see. This is a baby wipe. It's wet still, but I'm gonna gently, what you want to do is just take and the reason it's called resist is because the spots where you have, now ideally don't use the wet baby wipe like I am. I'm trying to be very gentle with it, but I don't know if you can see the white just pops because I'm picking up that extra ink that didn't soak in when I did my coloring. I was going over top of the embossed. It's kind of like wax, but it melts and it doesn't hold the ink, and so your ink will lay on top of that. So using a piece of Kleenex or Kleenex or something like that, we'll just pick that extra ink up. All right, these are the scallop contour dies. I absolutely love these dies. So this is the third largest. So I'm just going to take and put that on, just hold that in place. I think my paper will go through. This is my mini, so I think, yes it will. So we're just going to run this through. Cut that out. Ooh. And like I said, embossing, heat embossing was one of the very first techniques I actually learned to do. And I think I've told this story before. When I first started heat embossing, this goes back, I hate to even think how many years ago. I didn't have a heat tool. I don't know if heat tools existed, but I didn't have one. And we used an old electric frying pan to stamp on. Now that's Parakeet Party. That's quite bold. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the next size and I'm going to cut this down just slightly so that it's not quite so large. Do that over here. Yeah, I want that pop of color. I just think that's too much color. So I've taken the next size up of the scallop contour and we will just pop up. Yeah, that's a little better. Pop up our sentiment so it's not quite so in your face, if that makes sense. Oh, now I got glue on my hands. All right. So I'm just going to take and glue this on. Oops, get it straight. Like I said, I get glue on my fingers. Okay, now I grabbed some of, this is the Parakeet Party metallic woven ribbon that is part of the, these are the end colors. So I'm going to tie a bow, hopefully, she says confidently. There we go. I want it quite small because I'm going to put it kind of right there. Use a glue dot. Like that, and then I can trim that a little bit more. But okay, so I got that on like that, and now I can take and adhere this on. I love this color combination. Okay, so now let's take I'm just going to fussy cut. You guys know me. I'd like to fussy cut. If you don't like to fussy cut, use a die, use a punch. just cut a rectangle out and stamp on it. But I like the look of the pop of white on the pretty peacock. Right. These are black dimensionals. Did you know we have black dimensionals? They come in a combination pack of both the small and the large size. They're great if you want to put, if you have a darker cardstock. Black works well. And we'll just put that right like that. And now, what did I grab? I grabbed some. These are the In Color pearls. They are the 2022 and 2022-24. So this is Parakeet Party. It's quite light, but I love how you can use them for other. I mean, this is Parakeet Party, but you can use them for other colors because they coordinate so nicely. But I love pearls, and I think just that pop of pearl on there is just really pretty. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is I've got my pretty peacock, and I've still got my leaf. So I'm just going to take and stamp that leaf down in the bottom corner. Lost my glue for a minute. My glue is almost at the end. Like that. Isn't that a pretty card? I really love the color combination of Pretty Peacock and Parakeet Party. And that pop of color that you get when you do the Emboss Resist is just very striking. So I like to use quite a large stamp when I'm doing Emboss Resist, so that you get quite a large image. Or you could use some smaller images, and I've done it with the snowflakes in the Sparkling Snowflakes stamp set, where you stamp a whole bunch of snowflakes and then use the Emboss Resist over top of it with color. So lots of ways you can do it, but it's a really fun technique. And if you're like me, you love to do the embossing, because it really is magical when you start to see that powder melt and create such a, I don't know, it's so pretty. We have two different packages or sets of embossing powder. We have the basics, which includes clear, white, and black. And then we have the metallics, which are silver, gold, and copper. So lots to choose from when you look for embossing powders in the catalog. Thanks, Sharon. So that's my card for today. Hope you'll try the Emboss Resist. If you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button and you get notified when I go live. If you're interested in placing an order and live in Canada, don't forget you can go to stampingwithmelva.com and click shop online or shop with me. And tomorrow I will be back. Now, normally it would be 2 o'clock. I am in a craft fair tomorrow that starts at 3 o'clock tomorrow. So I have my table all set up downstairs. I think I'm more or less ready. But I'm going to be jumping on at 9 o'clock in the morning and showing you 3 cards that will be my thank you kit for December. And I'm using, it's going to be a sneak peek of the Stippled Roses bundle. And then there is some paper that coordinates from Celebration. So you get a sneak peek of one of the new products from the January to April mini, as well as Celebration. So come join me. It'll be 9 o'clock Pacific tomorrow for the 3 cards that will be part of or will be the thank you kit you get if you place an order with me. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. Hope you have a great day. Happy stamping. Bye.